The All-In team asked me to create an intro video for the holiday party with Tony Hinchcliffe that shows how the besties got to the show. Here's how it came out.
We made a little teaser for you. Who wants to see a little behind the scenes of how we got here tonight? Who wants to see that? All right, roll tape.
Here's how the besties all got to the big show tonight. Chamath came in from his Italian villa on a luxury yacht and then remembered how much he hates San Francisco, so he bailed. Jason finished his chores on the ranch, wound up in Southwest Group C, then caught an Uber X to the show. His own Uber X.
In keeping with the holiday party theme, we're going to recreate the scene of Jason arriving at the airport, getting to his car, and driving away. I created this Figma page to help me follow the steps, also organize the assets and the different content. The first step is scripting. So after a few minutes of brainstorming, I came up with this. So how did Jason make it to the show? He landed at the public airport, waited for his bag himself, loaded the bags into his car, an Uber X that he drives, then finally headed to an event. But also it's important to note that in the script, you want to make sure that there's imagery that you can then use while you're creating your content. And now that we have the script, the second step will be voiceover generation. I found that the best tool for this is ElevenLabs, and it's super easy. All you need to do is copy and paste your script, go to text to speech in the playground, and just copy in your prompt. One thing to note is I think it sounds much better with style exaggeration. This allows for a little bit more personality in the voice, and I did pick Brian as the voice, and I think it sounds pretty good. We can take a listen.
He landed at the public airport, waited for his bag himself, loaded the bags into his car, an Uber X that he drives, then finally headed to the event.
Where the exaggeration is coming isn't really exactly where I want it. So I found the best way to get exactly what you want is to play with the style exaggeration, download a few takes, get a couple that you like, and then put it into a tool like CapCut, where you can then whittle down different parts from different audio tracks into one file. I'm going to do that now where I have 2 tracks from ElevenLabs that had different adjustments on the sliders, like more exaggeration or maybe a little slower, and I can choose the best parts.
So how did Jason make it to the show?
Or in the second one.
So how did Jason make it to the show?
I like that one. So we can just cut this one and get rid of that first one. So you can see we're kind of just building out the tracks. So now we can kind of see what it all sounds like together.
So how did Jason make it to the show? He landed at the public airport, waited for his bag himself, loaded the bags into his car.
We'll then move to kind of generating all these assets. So this asset collection is kind of just gathering all the initial kind of organic assets that you can find on the internet. So this will be generating the final image before we put it into an AI video generator to create those final AI assets. So for the first part, we'll be starting with these 2 images of Jason and then also of the scene that we're trying to recreate. So we'll head into Higsfield, go into image, create image, and then drag in these 2 images. And I'll put in the prompt, which is the man in the second image in the scene of the first image. And you can see it generated some initial photos, but I wanted to give me a little bit more options to choose from. So I'll click generate again and also add that he's walking and not looking so happy. So you can see I made a handful of different generations, and I think that maybe one of these looks the best, maybe this one. So what I'll do is I'll just save it and put it in that Figma file so I can keep everything organized. And this will be the final image that we'll use to generate the video at the end. And the reason that this prep is really important because now I can use this exact photo in all of the different images and they'll all be very consistent and know exactly what I want him to look like. And this image actually wasn't one that I just got offline. I used this image and asked Higsfield to create a full length body shot of this image of Jason. But now we'll move to the second shot, which is the one at baggage claim. So we'll drag that shot in, make sure that we have the one of Jason, and then say replace the man in the second image with the man in the first image. And then we'll also include the luggage so we have some consistency. And now we'll get some options. I think this one is the best one, so I'll bring it into Figma and we'll keep going. So this scene is going to be a little more complicated. We're going to have Jason. It's important to also have the luggage in the shot. But one thing I also want to do is kind of set the scene by giving Higsfield this image to work with. So we'll put all of them into Higsfield. And once I put all the images in there, I'll put in the prompt. The man in the first image, putting the bag in the second image into the trunk of the third image with the scene set like the car is parked at the scene of kind of the fourth image, like you're picking someone up from the airport. we'll click generate. And I think it's important with these tools to be specific which images you're talking about, just so you can get the best output. I think that it captured exactly what I was thinking, like perfectly. And you can see the next scene is going to be Jason getting into the car. So we'll begin and generate that. But before we make it, I want to make sure that we are looking back at the script, which says that Jason is getting into an Uber X that he drives. So I want to put some of that Uber X branding on the car door. So what we'll do is put in the image of the car and then also put this Uber X logo and just say, put the Uber logo on the driver side door. And we'll use that it generates here for the next scene. Setting up the assets like this really improves on the consistency and also the quality of the images that you're generating. Because if in the next prompt you ask it to do that while asking it to do a handful of other tasks, it might not do as good of a job in the final image. And now that it's generated, we'll use this for the next scene. And I'll start creating the next image, which is going to be of the car at the airport with Jason. The man in the third image getting into the car in the first image set at the scene of the second image. This image looks great, and this will be perfect for the scene where he's getting into the car. And the last scene is going to be a sign of the holiday party, where basically we'll try and put this all in holiday party sign, like kind of where that welcome back is. And then also we'll try and put the car that he's driving kind of in the frame. So I put in the image of the car, the image of the holiday sign, and the image of the sign that they'll be driving through from this scene. And the prompt is the black sign in the third image replaced by the second image holiday party sign. The car in the first image can be seen driving. And to generate the image, it replaced the sign kind of perfectly. And I think that this one's the best, where the car is kind of driving through the sign. And you can see all the scenes are kind of set with Jason in them and the car, and he's all wearing the same thing, and it looks great. So now we'll put it back into Higsfield in the create video section. We'll start with the first scene, which is Jason walking in the airport. So we'll kind of just say the man walks past the camera stays steady while he walks past. And for this, we'll use VO 3.1 and we'll keep it at 6 seconds. Let's see what I come up with. And now we'll make the next scene, which is him walking at the airport. And we'll actually use the same prompt because I think that it'll work for this video as well. And now we'll move on to the one of him putting the luggage into the car. I think it looks pretty good, so we'll go to the next one, which is him getting into the car. And the prompt will be getting into the car and pulling away. And this one looks good, and we'll move to the last generation, which is the car driving away, going past the sign. And I'm using whisper flow here for the voice to text. The car driving forward, going under the sign without the camera moving. So we've gathered all of the assets we need for the final video. The next step is to bring it right into CapCut, import all the videos, and then once I'm done, I can just hit export, and then I have the final product. Here it is.
So, how did Jason make it to the show? He landed at the public airport, waited for his bag himself, loaded the bags into his car, an Uber X that he drives, then finally headed to the event.
Thanks for watching This Week in AI, and I'll see you next time.